Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy So What Day. I hope you're having a great start to your week and that you are ready for October to begin. That's right. September is just about over. And that means you have about 1 day left to enter our sweepstakes celebrating National Sewing Month. This is in partnership with the good people over at Kimberbell. And we have an amazing prize package that you could win to outfit your sewing room. So be sure to check this out. And if you haven't registered, do so today because it's the last day to enter. That means it's our last day to celebrate National Sewing Month. But as always, we're celebrating sewing year round. Of course, here on So What as well. So let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you are sewing these days. Are you getting ready for Halloween? I've got my bat table runner hanging behind me. I like to use table runners as wall hangings as well. Hang them vertically or horizontally. Get more use out of them because I have a lot of table runners. And, I like to display them in different ways. And this is a really popular one that is on the Sulky blog. It's actually a cluck cluck sew pattern, I believe, and it's all explained in the blog post. But this tutorial for this table runner, it's actually a larger quilt pattern, but I just isolated 3 of the bat blocks. And it looks like it's foundation pieced, but it's actually traditionally pieced. So I isolated 3 of the bat blocks and just made a table runner out of it instead of a full quilt, and then quilted it with Sulky glowy thread. So when the lights go out, this glows. It's pretty cool. So you could check that out on the Sulky blog, blog.sulky.com. Just search bat table runner and you will find all the links for the pattern and all of the great photos showing the glowy thread in action. But as we approach October here, of course, it is time to be thinking about Halloween if you're making costumes for little ones or maybe for yourself. If you are creating some new Halloween decor, we have all of those needs covered at sulky.com. We actually have a Halloween boutique, and you could check out that page for all things glowy, neon, reflective, all of the special effects threads, tons of patterns for Halloween sewing. And of course, we will be talking about a lot of those things during the month of October. It's also time to be thinking about our holiday sewing. So next week on So What, I have some great tools and resources for you to kind of get prepared for holiday sewing because let's face it, it sneaks up on us every single year. Am I right? So we have some great ideas here at Sulky to kind of ease you into that state of mind and make things a little bit more manageable for you as you head into the holidays. All right, let's see. Ooh, something else I want to talk about. Oops, not that. Something else I want to talk about today because the project that I'm going to guide you through today actually utilizes a brand new product at sulky.com that we are really excited to share with you. But it also features this really great vintagey fall, autumn, all those great feels, this great fabric. And if you happened to purchase up one of our mystery boxes that I unveiled last week, then this fabric might be familiar to you. So this is actually a scrap left over from the projects that I created for our Vintage Vibes mystery box. So if you did grab up one of those boxes, the cat's out of the bag. You're going to be getting some of this fabric that I'm showcasing today. And you can use some of your leftover fabric for today's project as well. So another thing you can do with your items in your mystery box. And if you didn't grab up a mystery box last week, the good news is we have a very small supply of them left. So you can still grab up a mystery box at the amazing price of just $49.99. It includes 15 products inside, including some of the fabric that I'm going to show off today. Of course, tons of sulky threads and stabilizers, notions, goodies, and gifts, all in that vintage vibes flair. So let me know if you grabbed up a mystery box, if you've received yours, because I love to hear what everybody thinks. As always, in your mystery box is a flyer. Be sure to hold on to that. Pin it up in your sewing room, something like this. It has a website to go to, a landing page, where you can get links to projects, patterns, resources for the things that are included in your box. So if you open your box and let's say there's a thread spool in there in a weight or a type that you've never used before, or you're thinking to yourself, what am I going to do with this particular notion or tool? Go to that landing page and there's all kinds of links and resources and information to guide you through using the items in that box. You can, of course, create the 2 projects that we included with your box, or you can go out on your own and use the fabrics, threads, notions, etc. to create just about anything for your fall sewing and beyond. All right, Maureen says, yes, I got my box. Love that. Donna ordered hers last week. Let's see. Noreen says, got my mystery box. Love that. Okay, perfect. Love it. Okay, another item of business to share. As you are going to sulky.com, checking out the Vintage Vibes mystery box, adding that to your cart if you didn't grab one already. You can also check out our amazing stabilizer sale. I linked directly to the stabilizer sale in the description of today's post. So you're likely not seeing the entire post that has all the links for everything I'm going to talk about today. It'll say featured products, and under that you'll find all kinds of links. If you go to the very bottom, it's a long description because I have a lot to talk about today. If you go to the very bottom, you'll find a link to our stabilizer sale. You can save 25% off select stabilizers, 30% off select stabilizers. Shop around and stock up. Now is really the time. These are amazing deals. Sometimes I only see deals like this when we do a live event, like one of our webcasts or video casts. That means these are deep, deep discounts. So now is a time to fill your cart with the stabilizers that you're going to need for your holiday sewing, to get you through to the end of the year, perhaps. Maybe you're going to be making a ton of assembly line in the hoop mug rugs or something like this for tons of people on your list. Grab up a bolt of Soft and Sheer stabilizer. Grab up a bolt of Tear Easy stabilizer. Whatever you use most of, you might as well get a bolt because you are going to get it at an amazing, amazing deal right now. This sale hardly ever happens. Like, I can't even tell you the last time we had a huge blowout stabilizer sale like this. So you really need to go on over to sulky.com and put all those stabilizers in your cart. Okay, just an idea. I'm going to be talking about stabilizer today and a few different varieties because there are several ways that you can do the projects that I'm featuring today, whether it's hand embroidery or machine embroidery. That's right. There's also a machine embroidery version for what I'm going to talk about today. There's also several ways of finishing the project. And if you have a couple different stabilizers on hand, you can do tons of options for that as well. All right, let's see. Oh, Noreen has a random question. She says, just curious, are 80-12 needles strong enough for jelly roll rugs? That's a great question. I get questions about needles and threads all the time, obviously. But your 80-12, so that's the size of your needle eye, basically. So an 80-12 needle, that means the needle eye is large enough for about a 40 weight thread. Okay? 50 weight thread would also work with an 80-12. Sometimes people will use an 80-12 for a 30 weight thread, but I suggest going up to a 90-14. So what you're asking is really more suited for the type of needle that you're choosing. So for something like a jelly roll rug, where you are trying to sew through cording, or sometimes it's called clothesline, depending on the type of rug that you're doing. It's a very, very thick piece of material. So you really need to make sure that you're using like a top stitch needle, maybe even a jeans needle. When I'm making, let's say, a rope basket, I like to use a Microtex needle because it has a very, very slim, very pointy tip to it. That way, when it's going through that rope or that cording, it's making a slim, sharp point. All right. So the 80-12, 90-14, etc. really has nothing or very little to do with what you are sewing through. That all has to do with the type of needle that you are using. Does that make sense? So let's say you're using a universal needle. That has a very slight ballpoint tip to it. Very slight, but it is ballpoint, okay? Not as much as a jersey needle or a stretch needle. That needs to be a very ballpoint or blunt tip, right? But a universal needle would not work no matter what size needle you're using, because you need that tip to be very, very sharp, pointy, not, rounded off like a ballpoint needle. Does that make sense? Or like, a universal would be. Okay. So I would say if you are making a jelly roll rug, depending on the density and the thickness of the cording that you're using, you want either a top stitch or denim needle if you're going through a really thick, large diameter type of cording, or a Microtex, or sometimes they're called sharps type of needle. Okay, you want a really sharp, pointy tip in a small enough needle shaft so you're not making a huge hole or trying to make a huge hole for the thread that you're using. Okay. Perfect. Beautiful day in Tennessee. Glad to hear it. We're having a beautiful day here in Colorado as well. The sun is shining, but the temperatures are cooling down a little bit. It's really my favorite temperature, around 72. Love it. I mean, I could live at 72 for I don't know how long without getting bored of it. All right. I also want to make sure everybody is registered and waiting for our 3D stump work embroidery webcast. This is happening in 2 short weeks. So October 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be going live with Megan Zanuski. She's the author of Stump Work, Embroidery, and Thread Painting. And she is going to join us and teach us this technique and show us how to create this beautiful poinsettia pendant. You can wear it around your neck. You can use it as an ornament. You can use it hanging in a window well. Very, very beautiful, lovely thread art, really. And we do have kits available for the poinsettia pendant project. It comes with everything you see here. You can choose from the silver or the gold pendant. And last I checked, we had very, very few silver pendants left. So if you are a silver girly, then you need to grab up your kit before those are sold out. The gold one is so perfect for the holidays as well. It also comes with these 5 spools of Sulky 12-weight cotton Petites Thread. That's what we are going to use to create our poinsettia. It's a 3D poinsettia that is made, movable with the help of jewelry wire. So it's a really cool technique. And yes, it is handwork, but I think you're really going to enjoy the meditative process. And she really breaks it down so that you can do this. It comes with this beautiful Kona cotton in this red and rich green color, 2 packs of needles, and a helpful embroidery hoop. This is Megan's beautiful book, and we are also running pretty low on these books as well. So if you're interested in learning more about this technique, or even just having a beautiful coffee table book that showcases these wonderful creatures and nature motifs that she creates using needle and thread, grab up one of these books at sulky.com when you grab up your kit, and you will have so much inspiration. Love it. I can't wait for her to join us. She's so cute and really enthusiastic about her craft and just such an artist. And it'll be worth it just to come to the event, whether you plan on making that pendant or not. It's just going to be full of inspiration, and you'll love learning about her and her process, and also learning about this technique, which may be new to you. All right. One more line of business. Now, I'm going to need your help a little bit. If you're part of the Sulky Stitch and Post Facebook group, you have probably already seen this poll that I posted late last night. But as you know, in 2026, we are going to Greece with Sulky and a group of fine folks. You can still register for this tour. I think the tour is going to close around December timeline, or actually it might close after the first of the year. I will get clarification on that. That just means it's closed for registrations. So it's a great time to maybe add this trip to your holiday wish list. Let your friends and family know you want to go to Greece with Sulky. Maybe they will pool their resources and send you there. And wouldn't that be the Christmas gift of a lifetime? You could go to Greece with Sulky. I will be doing a hands-on workshop during this fantastic tour. We're going to go to Mykonos and Santorini and Athens and all the places. The full itinerary is posted on the link that I put in the description of today's post. So hopefully I'm saying all of the locations properly. I've been talking about this tour for so long, it starts to get a little muddled in my brain, as you know, when I start talking live. So that's why I encourage you to head on over to the Sulky Craft Tours page, or website rather. Check out the full itinerary, check out the pricing. There's still payment plans that you can be a part of to get you where you need to be when we head out in May of 2026. So all that to say, while you're checking out that tour, we are planning our craft tours trips for 2026 and beyond. So this will be happening in 2026. We also have another Christmas tour that we are putting together for the end of 2026 that's going to be absolutely incredible. Those of you joining us for our Germany Christmas market tour this year, if you wanted to get on that tour, but maybe you were a little bit late registering and they closed the tour for registrations, you will be able to join us next year in 2026. And hopefully by next Tuesday, I will have the link for that so you can check out pricing, payment plans, all of those things for that tour in 2026. But we want to know, what's on your travel bucket list? Where do you want to go with Sulky? We do have some plans in the works, as I mentioned, for late 2026 and into 2027. But we want to make sure that we are picking the locations that you want to visit, because obviously we want you to come along. So if you are part of the Stitch and Post community on Facebook, if you're not, it's fine. All you need to do is search up Sulky Stitch and Post, ask to join. We will let you in, and then you can come and take part of our poll. If you're not part of that, or if you want to just tell me in the comments here, where do you want to travel? So a couple of locations that we are looking at for the future is we would love to go back and bring you all back to Bali. I did the Bali tour last year, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. It was very eat, pray, love. It was transformative in ways. We went to a batik factory, and we saw how batiks are made. And it was one of the most incredible days that I will never forget. And we made our own batik fabric and got to bring lots of it home. Then we got to go shopping for batik fabrics. And let me just tell you, these fabrics are available at a mere fraction of the cost that you find them out here, because obviously we're going to the motherland, right? So it doesn't have to go through all of those you know, taxes and tariffs and travels and whatever else, all of those expenses that go into having these fabrics available to us here in the US. So, I mean, I was able to get jelly rolls, full, you know, yardage for quilt backings and things for like $7 US, $12 US. I mean, like, it was absolutely amazing. They also have finished goods made out of their fabrics, all of these things. So, Bali, we were supposed to do this Batik Expo, which is a huge, you know, as you can imagine, huge market full of all things batik, from, you know, tools and things if you wanted to make your own batik fabrics, to just fabrics galore, handmade goods, all the things I just mentioned, but a full expo with tons of vendors. So not only are you getting great items straight from the source, but you're also helping out these families and communities that really rely on tourism dollars to stay afloat. So it's an amazing experience. So we were supposed to do this expo, and unfortunately, one of the people that kind of organized the expo had tragically passed away. So we were unable to do that expo. The whole thing had to be canceled. It was very tragic. But we are looking forward to potentially being able to do this expo again, perhaps in 2027. So Bali is on the list. Want to know how you feel about Bali? It's, you know, I wasn't sure what to expect, quite honestly, when we did our last Bali trip. I was a little nervous about it. It's a long way to go. Big, huge, long travel days. But once I was there and just immersed myself into the culture, you know, we went to the rice plantations, and I mean, there's just so much beauty, so much just, I don't know, you're just transformed by it, right? I can share more of those experiences as well if you're interested in hearing them. So Bali is on the list. Another one that we are interested in is Morocco, because there's such rich inspiration for quilting and sewing. There's an arts and crafts expedition there. You know, the spice markets, the fabric marts, all the things that would, you know, fuel our inspiration for future sewing projects and beyond. There's, you know, a cooking class. There's all kinds of things on that tour that sound amazing. Also, of course, Germany is on the list again because it's the sulky motherland, and we have to keep showing all of you that are unable to do, you know, our tours because of timing or things like that. So that is also a potential on the list for future. Iceland, that's another great location. You get to go swimming in the Blue Lagoon and the healing waters, and that just looks like an amazing location. So let us know where you would like Sulky to take you, and we may be able to add it to the list for our upcoming tours. So let us know. Okay, let's see. So let's get to the project at hand today, because again, I mentioned we have some new products at sulky.com that are perfect for this time of year and into the holidays. All right. So new at sulky.com. If I had a drum roll sound effect, I would play it, but I do not. Hand embroidery transfer stickers at sulky.com. So we have these in our fall botanicals and our holiday cheer motifs, both designed by an amazing embroidery artist named Julia Anderson. The fall botanicals has tons of fall florals like mums and dahlias and leaves and greenery and things like this. And what's great about these transfers is we've done all the printing for you. Okay. So a lot of the times when I'm showing off hand embroidery projects, I show you our great stick and stitch embroidery sheets. Okay. Stick and stitch are printable water-soluble transfers that you can put through your home printer, and you can print off whatever design you want, create a sticker out of it, and stitch through all layers, right? If you have watched So What for, I don't even know, maybe even 3 times, you've probably heard me talk about Stick and Stitch. It's one of our most popular products at sulky.com. Well, I have discovered, because people email me all the time, I've discovered that some of you don't have a home printer anymore. A lot of people just aren't finding any use for a home printer. And I totally get that. So you are unable to print. Here's a couple of designs I've printed onto Stick and Stitch, a lovely dandelion. You can also print in color, which gives you a great visual clue for when to swap out your threads in your designs. You can also use these to do free motion stitching on your sewing machine. You don't have to use them for handwork. But at any rate, I discovered a lot of you don't have printers. So what we're doing is printing the designs for you, packaging them up. You can purchase them as transfer packs and get all the designs in the Fall Botanicals collection already printed for you onto the Stick and Stitch. You can also purchase these up with thread included, which is amazing because, as you know, whenever we bundle something, whenever we create a kit out of something, you get a much better deal if you purchase that versus purchasing up all those threads individually. So if you grab up the transfers that include the thread, then you'll have all the colors that you need for all of those designs. Also, inside of that transfer pack, when you open it up, you will find all the recommended stitches, all the recommended threads for which part of the design that you're working on, as well as helpful tips and tricks for using the Stick and Stitch transfers. How to rinse them away, how to use them, that kind of thing, which I'm going to go over with you here today. So again, you can grab up the Fall Botanicals. This is kind of what it looks like when you open it up out of the package. You get these 2 sheets. You would just cut out the sticker of your choice, put it on your fabric, and sew through all of those layers. Here's what those beautiful threads look like. Absolutely love this fall color palette. And then, of course, our holiday cheer. So the designs are very holiday, winter. There's an ornament, hot cocoa mug, greenery, poinsettias. You get the idea. Love these. And then all of those beautiful colors for the holidays. And I love that these have sort of a vintage vibe to them, right? We've been talking a lot about this craft trend, which is really going toward those colors from, days gone by, as they say. The vintage Christmases with the old-timey Santas and the snowmen that almost look like Jack Frost, these types of motifs. You're really going to be seeing these in a lot of the holiday fabrics that you're looking at, and fabrics as we go toward Thanksgiving and things like that. So this sort of muted color palette is just right on trend for everything that you're going to be seeing, as far as fabric stores, quilt shops, and online. Even ready-made things, plates and printed napkins and things like that. You're going to be seeing these types of motifs. All right. Alexis says, do we need a digital download or are they hand stitched? All right. So these transfers are all for hand sewing. But in a little bit, after I go over the hand sewing tutorial with you, I'm going to show you the machine embroidery version. That's right. They're also available as machine embroidery designs. So if hand stitching isn't your thing, first off, I encourage you to try it because these stickers are really fun and they take the guesswork out of, how do I transfer these designs? How do I get rid of the markings of these designs? You can just stick that sticker on and start stitching. It's a great activity if you have, kids' sports games that you're going to right now, which is totally my life right now. I'm living at the soccer field. So it's something to bring along, to work on. you know, as you're cheering on kids at the game. It's great for travel. If you are headed somewhere for Thanksgiving or for the holidays, you can create your own sort of little travel sewing kit with one of these transfer kits. Throw in a towel or a piece of fabric and a hand sewing needle, and you're off to the races and you have something to do. Keep yourself busy, be creative during that travel time. All right, so let me just show you here. I created this pretty fall leaf on a little tea towel or dish towel blank, really. And I found this set of towels. Where's my other one? I found this set of towels at Target in the great little dollar bins that they have, which I realize are really not technically dollar bins anymore. A lot of the things are like $5, but I got 2 towels. I don't know why I can't find the second one. I got 2 towels for $5. So this is one of the towels, and the other one has like a geometric kind of print on it that I'm going to use one of the other designs. So I have a set, but for just $5, I thought it was a great sort of blank to do so many things with. So I decided to do this pretty little hand embroidery design using the transfer pack. And it doesn't have to say much, right? It's like a hand towel that you'd have in your kitchen or bathroom. So I like subtlety for fall decor, mostly because you can start putting it out in the end of September, and you can still use it all the way past Thanksgiving until you know, kind of overhaul your decor and transition to your holiday stuff. So love that about it. I think it's, you know, it's subtle, but it's impactful, right? Our cute little leaf design. And I did use a Blendable's thread color, which is not included in the thread palette that comes with the transfer pack. But you could certainly swap out thread colors and use whichever ones that speak to you or that match your towels. This is also a great way if you have some older towels, maybe there's a stain on it or a little tear or something like that. Patch up the back of it. I'll show you how to do that after your embroidery is done, and sew over it with some hand stitches. Kind of reinforce that area and add a little decorative embellishment to it. All right, so to get started, we have our sticker transfer sheets and the thread of our choice. I just started pulling thread colors to see what was going to go best with my towel. But again, if you grab up the transfer pack that has all of these beautiful colors in it, you will have so many at your disposal that you can choose from. Then it's a matter of cutting out your transfer sticker. You just want to leave yourself a good enough border so that the edges are not too close to where you will be embroidering. All right. So I cut out several because I wanted to create a set. It also makes a great hostess gift if you're going to be, you know, traveling for maybe Thanksgiving or even just a dinner party over, you know, the fall. Maybe you're going to somebody's house for the football game. You can grab up a towel, do some embroidery on it, put some cute spatulas or a cookie mix or something with it, and it makes a great little hostess gift. So I started auditioning my little stickers on my folded towel. I like to fold it how I'm going to display it instead of having the towel just flat in front of me. I like to be like, okay, I'm going to fold it in thirds because that's, you know, how I hang my towels. You might hang yours differently and want it along a corner or something like that. So you could start placing your little stickers, this cute little mushroom guy. And then there's another cute greenery with some berries on it, things like that. And figure out the one that you want to start with. Once you have that figured out, you will just remove the paper backing of your hand embroidery transfer sticker and place it on the towel exactly where you want it. Again, I used a Blendable's thread color, but you could, of course, choose the color that you like best from that palette of colors. I hooped up my towel, but quite honestly, you don't really need to because the sticker also acts as a stabilizer, especially if you give yourself enough of a border of the sticker around the motif. It really keeps your towel from stretching, and you can really just stitch in hand. I hooped mine up just to have a little bit something else to hold on to. Plus, my towel is pretty open weave. So it's like a waffle weave towel. And I just felt like my hoop was going to give me a little bit more stability. Esther's asking, is the towel cotton? You know what? It must be. But I removed the tag when I put my little border on the back side, which covered my embroidery stitches. I'll get to that momentarily. But it must be made out of cotton. Sorry, I can't answer that. Okay. All right, then I just started stitching along the lines. I did a leaf stitch here, and then along the center, I did a stem stitch. The other thing is when you grab up the Fall Botanicals or Holiday Cheer embroidery collections, it gives you a little bit of a stitch guide. So if hand embroidery is new to you or you need a little bit of a refresher for some of these stitches, that helps out as well. All right, so then when your stitching is done, all you have to do is rinse away that transfer sticker under warm running water. Just give it a little bit of agitation between your fingertips until all of that stabilizer, it just starts to slough off and just, disappear under the water. And then I just like to rinse and rinse and rinse, making sure it's all rinsed off of my towel. And then you're going to let everything dry flat on another absorbent towel, and you have your finished design. And I want to show a couple of different ways you can conceal the wrong side of your embroidery, because obviously this is a towel. It's going to get a lot of use. If you have it hanging in your bathroom or kitchen, everybody's going to be using it to wipe their hands, right? So we want to make sure that the back side of our embroidery is nice and sealed up. So I'm going to give you a couple of options for what to do there. And these also apply to machine embroidery. So if you choose to use the Fall Botanicals machine embroidery collection or the Holiday Cheer machine embroidery collection for your towels, you could do either one of these methods that I'm about to show you to conceal the wrong side of that too. All right, but before we get to that, I'm going to show you a quick video of this stabilizer in action. So you can actually see, it's a very short video that just kind of shows you exactly what I did here, but in video form. All right, so here we go. So again, this is exactly what I just showed you, but really sped up and on a cute little t-shirt. So you sew through all of those layers of the stabilizer, swapping out your threads as you desire. And then once your embroidery is complete, you can just rinse it all away. Super simple, leaving no trace. Absolutely love this stuff. So if you are doing a t-shirt or something like that, I would recommend using Sulky Tender Touch Stabilizer. And once your design is all dry, everything is complete, you'll create a little patch of that Tender Touch Stabilizer and fuse it to the wrong side of your embroidery. That's going to seal up all those stitches. That's going to make sure if you have any stray thread ends, that's all going to be behind your stabilizer patch, okay? But if you are doing something like these towels, you can create a fabric patch using Soft and Sheer Extra Stabilizer and a scrap of matching fabric. So, as I mentioned, this fabric is featured in our Vintage Vibes mystery box. So if you have some left over, it's really the perfect color to go with this particular towel that I found in the Target bin. But of course, I'm sure you have fabric scraps that you can utilize for this as well that will either coordinate with your design or coordinate with the towel that you're using. So this is how you will make a little applique patch for behind your embroidery. Take the Soft and Sheer Extra, which is a fusible, lightweight, permanent stabilizer, and you're going to take your fabric scrap and put them right sides together. So by that I mean the fusible side of the stabilizer is facing the pretty side of the fabric. Then I created a little patch. I just used a little circular item that I had in my sewing room. I use this for little sewing clips and pins and things. And I just traced around that circle. Of course, you need to make sure that that circle or oval or whatever shape is big enough to conceal the back of your embroidery, right? You may even want it much bigger so that you can sew around your patch and it doesn't compromise the pretty hand embroidery you just did, or machine embroidery, as it were. So create your little patch shape and then stitch along that line and then trim pretty close to it. So this is the wrong side of my fabric, and then this is the wrong side or the non-fusible side of my Soft and Sheer Extra. Now I'm going to cut a slit through the stabilizer only and turn my little patch right side out. At this point, it's very helpful if you use your turning tool, like maybe you have a multi-purpose turning tool from Sulky. Maybe you got it in a past mystery box if you were one of the lucky ones. But that's a really great tool to run along the interior of your patch between those layers to make sure it's nice and smooth along your stitching line. This is what the wrong side looks like now, or excuse me, the stabilizer side. And you can see the fusible is facing out. Then we just put our patch over the back of our embroidery and fuse it down. And that conceals the whole wrong side of our pretty little leaf. And then if you would like, you can stitch along the outside, or you can even do a hand blanket stitch where you're just grabbing the back fabrics of your towel so that it's not showing on the front. Might be easier to do that by hand, because if you do it by machine, you're definitely going to see the stitches on the front, right? It's going to be your bobbin stitches. So again, you could cut your oval much bigger than your design, and that way your stitches, they will kind of sink into your towel and be almost invisible, but you'll still have that little oval patch on the wrong side. So that's one way of concealing the backside of your embroidery when you're doing towels like this. Again, you can do this with machine embroidery as well. But this is what I chose to do. I actually created like a full towel band on the wrong side of my towel. I just felt like when it was folded and used, that it would be a little bit prettier than the patch method, and just have greater coverage along the whole part of the towel. And then if it gets hung up kind of in a weird way, you get a little bit of that contrast fabric detailing hanging from behind the towel. So I took a strip of fabric and I folded one long edge toward the wrong side. You can see my selvage edge here, which I did not cut away, but you certainly could if you wanted to. I folded that edge to the wrong side and pressed it. That's going to be the upper edge of my towel band. The opposite raw edge, I'm going to sew down by machine. All right, so I place that over the top just to kind of judge where I want the lower edge to fall on my towel. I wanted to keep the existing hem of the towel along the sides and lower edge. So I wanted to make sure to place the raw edge of my towel against that existing stitching line. All right, so then we are going to put that together. Basically, both right sides are facing up. The right side of my towel band and the right side of my towel. And then I pinned along that existing stitching line, and that's where I sewed my fabric banding down. So take it over to the machine, pick a 50 weight cotton thread color that is the same exact color of your towel so that it blends in. I mean, you can barely see it on my finished towel. Can kind of see it on the top stitching, but it's really almost just non-existent. It blends in with that existing hemline. So I sew along that existing hemline. Again, both right sides are facing up. There's my finished sewing. And then you're going to fold that towel banding toward the wrong side of the towel, covering up that embroidery. So you have that pressed edge that is now the upper edge of your band. This is the edge that you just sewed. Fold it back and pin it in place. You also want to be sure to tuck in your raw side edges. And again, I placed mine so that they're just inside of the existing stitching line along the side hem of the towel. So you just kind of fold those in, pin them, and then we're going to top stitch the whole band in place. So there's everything pinned. I have the folded edge along the top there, and now it's all top stitched, and you have a little decorative fabric accent on the wrong side of your towel, and your embroidery is completely protected. Nobody's going to snag their ring or fingernails or anything on it when they're using the towel. So it's going to have greater longevity. You can use it for many fall seasons to come. Plus, it utilizes some leftover fabric that you might have in your stash, and is a great way to finish off either hand embroidery or machine embroidery work on items that you're going to see that wrong side, right? Whether it's a towel or maybe a little washcloth with machine embroidery, even a tote bag. If you do embroidery along maybe the top of a tote bag, you could almost create like a facing piece for it. That's sort of what I did here. And then fold it to the wrong side and top stitch it down. Super simple. Hey, Deb. She says, I love a good concealment plan. Good to see you. Okay. Deb was one of my tour mates on one of our very first Germany Christmas market tours, and we just had a blast. All of those people are so near and dear to my heart. All right, so as I mentioned, not only can you do this for for hand embroidery, but we also have our fall botanicals and our holiday cheer collections available for machine embroidery. So this is a napkin that I created using one of the fall botanicals designs, the little pumpkin duo here. And this is what the design looks like when you do it by machine. So I'm going to make this a lot bigger so you can see. So you get really great coverage with your machine embroidery. It looks very professional and lovely. It does have a different look though, of course, because we're not using that really heavyweight thread for our embellishment. But you can bang these out much quicker when your machine's doing all of that work for you. So if you are team machine embroidery, we have you covered with the machine embroidery thread palette. That means you will get all the embroidery designs featured in either the Fall Botanicals or Holiday Cheer design collection with the thread included, or you can grab up the collection by itself. Okay? And here is what that thread palette looks like when you grab it up for machine embroidery. So again, you get all these designs, 10 fall embroidery designs from that Fall Botanicals collection, plus 10 spools of Sulky rayon thread. So if you want to do this for machine embroidery, a little bit different setup, of course, for your towel. And if you want to get all the videos and tutorials and stabilizer recipes for success for embroidering towels with machine embroidery, I highly encourage you to sign up for our All the Towels embroidery session. I linked directly to it in the description of today's post. So if you're wondering, hey, I also want to do waffle weave towels with machine embroidery, what stabilizer, thread, needle combination should I use? That is all covered in the All the Towels session. You can also do tea towels. You can also do linen towels. You can also do terry cloth towels. All the different towel types that you would most often embroider by machine are included. Plus, you get a humongo design collection from Embroidery Library and Urban Threads included with purchase of that session. Kathy says, that's a great class on towels. Love it. Yes, they look like squash. That's correct, Sue. You know, depending on the thread colors that you use, you can create those pumpkins that look like little gourds, or you can make them look like little pumpkins. So that would be a great wedding shower or wedding gift. Love that as well. Oh, Deb, you're so sweet. She says, best trip ever. Go on a tour with Ellen if you can. Love that endorsement. I mean, man, we had a great time. I'll never forget that tour ever. All right, so let's see. All the towels, sign up for that session if you want to do machine embroidery on towels. We still have, well, actually, I don't know if we have any kits of those left. That was a really, really successful kit. It had all these different types of towels in it, all this thread. It was just such a great session. But the good news is it's a start anytime session. So if you happened to purchase that session when we first offered it, you can go right back into sewingonline.sulky.com, go back to your All the Towels session, get a little refresher depending on the types of towels that you are going to embroider, whether it's for yourself or for gifts. I mean, I love just wrapping up towels with a cute little brownie mix or something like this, or they have those cute little printed spatulas and little measuring cups and things that really kind of round out a gift, and you get to throw in a little something handmade. Without it taking forever and without it breaking the bank. So I think these are just really, really great gifts, whether for hostess gifts or wedding gifts. Like someone was saying, look in those dollar bins for those towels. You don't have to grab up, you know, a crazy amount of towel blanks, but we also have those available at sulky.com. If you want to do, you know, kind of a group gift, maybe you're part of a, you know, bunko group or a card game that, you know, you go to once a month or something like this. Or maybe you're sewing or quilting guild and you want to get everybody a cute little holiday gift. You can grab up a pack of tea towels or something like this, embroider them with something specific for each person or a little bit different design from the same collection. So they're all getting the same thing, but it's a little bit different for each recipient. Love that. And I love having an embroidery machine that allows me to do that so quickly and easily. All right, let's see. Oh, Betsy says, you're putting me in the mood to embroider. I love that. You know, I just had a conversation with somebody recently who just got an embroidery machine. And so naturally, she texted me and said, I bit the bullet. I finally got an embroidery machine. Where do I start? And I was like, what a loaded question, but I'm here for you, girl. So we had a little conversation and, you know, she did her first embroidery and just like me was bitten by the embroidery bug. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I first got my embroidery machine, and I started working for Creative Machine Embroidery magazine, I just started reading all the things and getting all the designs and loading up all the thumb drives. I mean, I probably have a shoebox full of thumb drives of designs because I just keep them there. I know maybe you're not supposed to, but I just keep them there. I label them. And that's my old school way of organizing my design files, I guess, instead of cluttering up my computer where I can never find anything anyways. But anyways, it occurred to me, this is why people want to embroider all the things, including things like toilet paper. There used to be books on embroidering toilet paper to have like a decoration in your bathroom. I mean, but now I get it, because you literally, after you finish your first design, you start looking around the room like, what else can I embroider? What do I have hanging here? What fabrics do I have? What can I create? Because it's so fun to watch your machine do all that work for you. So anyway, that's my embroidery endorsement for the afternoon. Okay. Oh, Heather, I don't know what link you're talking about. But if you are looking for links of anything I'm discussing during today's live stream, hopefully I have put them all in the description of today's video. So click on that little more or see more button. All the links will pop out for our hand embroidery packs, for our stump work video cast. If you want more information on how to travel with Sulky, how to join our Greece tour, or find our future tours, that link is in there. All kinds of things. So, and if you have a question and I did not address it today, you can always reach out at customercare@sulky.com, and we are happy to answer you at any time for all of your needs. Okay. Perfect. Noreen says, I've done several toilet paper designs. Love that. Love it. Love it. Colleen says, hey, Colleen, the machine embroidery bug bit me too. I know. Love it too. Noreen is asking, can you bring hand embroidery on a plane when you fly overseas? That's a great question. And I think it depends on the airline and their particular rules and regulations. I would think the most problematic thing would be the size of the scissors that you choose to bring. But I will say, even when I went to Bali, I brought a little sewing kit and nobody gave me any problems about it. And I had my small little curved tip squeezer. This is what I put in my sewing kit when I travel. And no one has ever stopped me about these little curved blades right here. But that is not to say that they won't someday. But I like to throw in a pair of scissors that I'm really not going to cry over if they decide to take them away from me. After all, it's all about everybody's safety, and I'm all about that. And I don't want to break any of those rules. So I never take my best scissors with me, even though I would consider these some of my best scissors because I use them literally every day. But I also have 3 pair of them. So all that to be said, I would just check with the airline, make sure that you are bringing things that, you know, are suitable for their rules and regulations. Okay. Well, I think that I am all caught up with the questions, but again, if not, keep putting them in the chat. I will address them there. And if you need to reach out to us, it's customercare@sulky.com, and we are happy to help you. And wow, Tracy says I did 70 towels for a nursing home. Wow! 70 towels, everyone. Give it up. Love that. All right, well, thanks for joining me today, everyone. And be sure to watch next Tuesday for another So What. And please head on over to our Sulky Stitch and Post page and participate in our poll, because I would love to know what's on your travel bucket list. Where do you want to travel with Sulky? And we will try to make that happen, because we want you to come along on one of these tours of a lifetime that we put together with you in mind. So thanks, everybody. And I appreciate all of your thoughts in the chat. And I'll see you next Tuesday for another So What.